Hi, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to my show. I'm back again for another episode of Live with Gregory Pappas, and I'm thrilled to see so many of you watching. Hi, Margarita. How's Kanya doing? I'm going to see you soon. I'll be in Greece in a couple weeks. Anyway, guys, it's a very exciting show. I've got a lot of exciting things I want to talk to you about today. I've got some very, very special guests, some very unique guests that I want to introduce to you and talk about some really exciting things. But first, and I'm changing the format around a little bit because I'm talking about some things in addition to having guests. So first of all, thank you all for watching. Love the comments. Hi, Dallas. Never been to Dallas, but I need to come soon. Some of the things we're going to talk about today, and I welcome your comments and I welcome your feedback, and you're always welcome to reach out to me. My email is public. It's gregory.pappas@gmail.com. Send me hate mail, send me love mail, send me pictures, send me your stories, whatever you want. I try to respond to as many as possible. Yesterday was May 19th, and it was a very important holiday for a particular group of Greeks all around the world. It was the Remembrance Day for the genocide of Pontian Greeks. This is a very difficult topic for a lot of people, a lot of Pontian people that I know. And if you don't know what Pontians are, it's like saying Cretans or Cypriots or Macedonians or Peloponnesians. They're a group of Greeks, ethnic Greeks, who are very proud people. I know many of them, and they lived peacefully for many thousands of years and maintained their Greek heritage and their Greek identity and their Greek religion for thousands of years on the coast, on the northern coast of what is now Turkey, near the Black Sea. These people were brutally annihilated over 100 years ago by the Ottoman Turks. Tragic incident, part of the much bigger genocide of the Christian population of Asia Minor, of the Armenians and the Assyrians and all of the other Greeks along the Anatolian coast. So it's a very difficult subject. I know a lot of Pontians. I've learned a lot about their heritage and their history. And it's quite remarkable because yesterday we celebrated this memorial of the Pontian genocide, of these poor souls who perished. Think about this for a minute. These people were supposed to be annihilated. Hundreds of thousands of them were massacred, were killed. We've got some brutal stories. Numerous books have been written about the Pontian genocide. Yet here we are, 3, 4, 5 generations later in all corners of the planet. And I'll talk specifically about the United States, where we've got Pontian communities thriving. They're dancing, they're singing, they're eating, they're drinking. It's quite phenomenal to see the resilience of the Pontian people. And it's important to remember what these people went through. I've experienced it myself, having been a guest a few years ago at a Pontian youth event in Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to Sandy Papadopoulou and his crew for inviting me. And what I saw there was quite amazing. 3rd and 4th and 5th generation young people learning how to cook Pontian food, learning how to dance Pontian dances, having seminars about the genocide. It was quite remarkable. I've been personally enriched and learned much more about these people thanks to my dear friends in Cleveland, Ohio, the Tsirambilis family. And I thank them for always sending me the important history of the Pontian people. Their children have become my friends, and we share stories. So thank you. Shout out to Tim and Julie for doing their part to educating the next generation of young people. Another really important holiday I want to get to before we get to Her Excellency Ambassador Papadopoulou, who I'm really excited to talk to. It's a very personal day for me today. As many of you know, it's the anniversary, the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Crete. And I grew up in a home with a father who had nightmares, waking up in the middle of the night, remembering what he called the umbrellas falling from the sky. The people of Crete woke up today and saw the largest airborne invasion of an island fortress in history. The Nazi Germans were determined to take Crete. We have dozens and dozens of articles that we will be publishing on the Pappas Post, and I encourage you to read this history. The Battle of Crete and the larger Battle of Greece itself changed the course of World War II history. And this isn't just Greg the Proud Greek talking. This is many, many historians have written about this. If you think about what transpired, how Crete is connected to the rest of the story of the Battle of Greece and the battle for Greece. The Italians invaded in October of 1940. They then were routed and pushed all the way back. Come March and April, Hitler's got to go clean up Mussolini's mess because he's got to take over the rest of the Balkans so they have easy access to Egypt and North Africa, etc. So Hitler comes in and he invades Greece, and he quickly, although there was a crazy resistance movement, quickly takes over most of the country. So this is April. In April, I believe it was April 17th, if I'm not mistaken, or April 21st, Nazi troops entered Athens and they raised the Nazi flag on the Acropolis. Less than a month later, they invaded Crete. They took over Crete. The battle was fierce. The Nazis suffered the largest losses in Crete than any other battle during World War II. It's remarkable history. But what we know and what historians have told us, that this delay and the resources that the Nazi Germans had to send to Greece cost them the war, because they were planning on invading Russia early in the spring. They didn't want to deal with the Russian winter. They had to send troops, and they were diverted to Crete and Greece to fight the resistance movement and fight the battle. And the rest is history. The Nazis ended up invading Russia much later. They were stuck in the winter, and the Nazis lost the war. So when we talk about things like the Battle of Crete and the battle for Greece and the resistance, understand that this isn't just folkloric reminders. This isn't just folklore and, oh, let's remember our grandparents. These were events that changed the course of world history, and we should all be proud, and we should all be studying these things in our universities, and we should all be encouraging. I mean, yes, Thucydides is important, and Pericles is important, and all of these ancient things are just as critical as these things, but these are modern components of our history that we have a direct connection to. Our parents, our grandparents, they fought in these battles, they lived these experiences. And as long as we are alive and active in our communities, we should be remembering these things. So I've got a lot to talk to you about more, but I do have one fun topic that I want to talk to you about before I welcome Her Excellency Ambassador Papadopoulou. And hello, San Jose. Hi, Anna. Thanks for watching. I got something in the mail the other day that I'm super excited about, and I want to share it with you because I like to share things that come my way. I got this new cookbook, and it's called Sea, Salt, and Honey. And it's a wonderful Greek cookbook. I'll hold it up again for you. And I am going to put a link where you can get a copy. It's written by Chloe, Olivia, and Nicholas Tsakiris. They are a Greek-American family who just got up and left and moved to Greece. And they fell in love with food. And I'm absolutely in love with this cookbook. If you see some of the recipes, it's not a traditional cookbook, you know, moussaka, pasticcio, whatever. It has those things in it, but it's got some modern takes to it. I really, really love the Choriatiki village gazpacho. I mean, how cool is making a gazpacho soup out of all of the ingredients of the Choriatiki salad. The other recipe that I really, really like, and let me find it, is their version of yemista. It's stuffed peppers and tomatoes, and they actually use quinoa in their recipe. So I've got a link for the book, Sea, Salt, and Honey. I'm hoping that I can get in touch with Chloe, Olivia, and Nicholas, and we can have them on the show, and maybe they can cook something for us if you guys are watching. I strongly encourage you to buy this book. It is super, super wonderful. It's a big book, coffee table book. The photographer won all these crazy awards, and it's just absolutely fun. So Lots of you watching. I'm thrilled to have you all. I am very, very honored to introduce to you, and I'm going to bring her into the stream right now. Let's see if I do this. Remember, it's a live show, and we may make some mistakes. And there she is in 1 second. Ambassador Papadopoulou, it's truly an honor to have you on the show. You are the first woman ambassador to ever serve the United States. Your credentials speak for themselves. You served numerous posts in South America. You served numerous posts in Greece. You're very, very close to the current prime minister. Your bio it just speaks for itself. And I've been honored to be in your presence and to learn from you. I want to talk to you about a lot of things today. I want to welcome you. Before, I want to show a picture because this is quite an interesting photo. And let me see if I do this right. And here you are presenting your credentials. Being the ambassador when the pandemic hit. Very, very exciting times for you. Ambassador, welcome to our show. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm not very good with technical arrangements. And at some point, I lost you as I said, what did I do now? But anyway, yes, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to be invited in your program and to have the opportunity to talk to your audience. And I had the chance to see a part of your previous presentation, and I wanted to say a few things about the Battle of Crete. Of course, it's one of the most glorious pages in Greek history, modern Greek history. But I have a personal connection because my father fought in the Battle of Crete.
Wow.
My father was a military officer, but at that time he was a young cadet who went to Crete, who was summoned to Crete, and they fought in the battle. And he was taken prisoner of war by the Germans, and he spent quite a few years in camps. So it's a personal connection. And my father always spoke very highly about the women of Crete, because when he was in the camp and the Germans were giving them almost next to nothing to survive as far as food is concerned, and also they had to work in forced labor, they survived because the ladies from Crete were giving them grapes and fruits, of course, behind the back of the Germans. And he was always grateful because that allowed him to went through these very tough times. Yes, we're very proud of the Battle of Crete, of the contribution of the people of Crete, and also young cadets like my father and their sacrifices, because a lot of people lost their lives, and especially later, during the German occupation, a lot of people from Crete sacrificed their lives for freedom. But now Crete is a beautiful place, and nothing reminds us of the horrid atrocities of war. I have been a lot of times in Crete, and I can only admire the beauty of the place and the generosity of the people.
I thank you for that because both of my parents come from Crete. So
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
yeah, both of my parents come from Crete, and I grew up with these stories. My father was a teenager when the Nazis invaded. So, I feel lucky. I feel enriched by that experience. Your Excellency, is it important as a people to remember these events? I mean, there's a conversation happening. A lot of times I have friends in the Jewish community who walk that fine line between victimhood and remembrance. How does the country of Greece remember? I do know that the prime minister did recognize the Pontian events yesterday, very public events. Is there a fine line between victimhood and, oh, woe is us, and we were massacred and we were killed, and look at us, poor Greeks, versus a more proud approach of remembrance and celebration, if you will, of these events?
I don't think there is a contradiction between remembering and still leaving things behind. Of course, we should remember. And the reason why we should remember is, first of all, to honor the dead, but also, and even most important, not to allow these things to repeat themselves. Because whoever forgets history is bound to repeat the historical history. So it's very important to remember. But this doesn't mean that we have to hold grudges. My father never spoke against the Germans, never in his life. He said that was a war. There are horrible things that happened during a war. That's it. That was the only comment he ever made in later life. And he carried a lot of goods, and I can speak about the goods because he was a young boy at that time, like 18 years old. Yeah, exactly, 19 years old. So of course there were a lot of wounds and psychological traumas. But as life went on and he had a family and he grew older, he understood the meaning and the importance of forgiving, but not forgetting. So I think we should remember our history and we should learn the lessons of history. And we have to teach these lessons to our children who don't have the same memories and who don't have the same psychological baggage. We should not have a psychological baggage, but we should not live happy-go-lucky as if nothing happened ever.
Very profound. Thank you for your comments. So these events were 80 and 100 years ago. Let's fast forward to the world events of today. The one thing on everyone's mind is this pandemic, which seems to be coming to an end in many American cities. And I hope that all of you are doing well in Washington, D.C. I see the Greek flag behind you, so I'm assuming you're in the embassy right now.
Yes.
How are things going in Washington? Is everybody okay there?
Yes, we were very lucky. We didn't have any instances in the embassy among the staff of the embassy. Of course, we took a lot of precautions, but nevertheless, the embassy never closed. We worked in shifts. We took some measures inside the embassy, like having separate offices for each person, so we avoided personal contact as much as possible. But we never closed completely. And now everything is in Washington, at least everything is almost back to normal.
I also have to say, Ambassador, that I was very, very impressed with last May. I had to take care of some things at the consulate in New York, and then in turn work with the embassy in Washington to handle some things. I was so impressed with the staff, the professionalism of the staff. I had to visit the consulate in New York. Everything happened so quickly. Everything happened with very professionally. All the safety precautions were taken. But more so, I've been following what's happening in Greece, and kudos to the government because everything has been digitized. And I understand that there are many services now that the embassy in Washington and all of the consulates around the country are providing their Greek citizens and people who need these services online. And it's remarkable to see the quick transformation and how, we laugh about things, and sometimes things in Greece take forever, a snail's pace, and oh my God, and this happened almost immediately. It seems like all of the ministries in Greece just kind of went into overdrive when this pandemic hit and said, this is a new reality for us, and we better either adapt or we're going to die like everybody, all the other people who haven't been able to adapt. So I want to congratulate you for taking the charge, and also please send your congratulations to all of the government leaders in Greece that have done a remarkable, remarkable job. You want to talk about the digitization at all a little bit?
Yes. Pandemic also presented a lot of opportunities. It was like a wake-up call because what we were talking for many, many years, digitalization of the Greek public service, it was a dream, it was a decision, but still it was not urgent. And then the pandemic hit. And of course, it became very, very urgent because not all employees could go to their office every day, to their work every day. And because we had to take care of the urgent business of the Greek citizens. And of course, the consulates and the consular services around the world, the Greek consular services, had to modernize and became part of the whole digitalization process. A lot still needs to be done. This process is not over. But even myself as a Greek citizen, I'm amazed. I'm really amazed at how fast it went and how successful it went. And just to give you an idea, because I can compare the experience of getting vaccination here in the US and the experience of getting vaccination in Greece. In Greece, you just receive a notice on an SMS on your telephone saying that you are available, your appointment is this day at this place, and the second appointment is this day and that place. And you just have to go online only if you want to change the appointment time. So you don't have to do anything else. It's unbelievable. It's more organized than most places in the world. And Greek citizens, for the first time, you never hear any complaint that, oh my God, there was a line, people went ahead of me, although they're younger. Nothing. I mean, that's a miracle by itself. Yes, it's what happened. It's amazing, and we have to give acknowledgement to the minister in charge, Mr. Pierakakis, who, by the way, has spent many years of his life in the United States, and he really led this revolution.
Ambassador, you arrived here in February of 2020, or you presented your credentials to President Trump in February of 2020, and by March, I think the world was starting to shut down. It was probably a rude awakening for you to show up and be all excited about this post and plan to travel the country. What was it like for you? Other than the quick transition, you became quite a celebrity in our community because you became so accessible to many prominent Zoom events, and we didn't skip a beat. So tell us about your experience living during this pandemic and being Greece's top diplomat in the United States from February on.
As I said, every bad thing has a bright side. You have you are forced to see the bright side or to adapt and adjust. One thing that works very well for me is that I know the United States. I have spent more than half of my life in the United States. I was a student here. I served in the United States for many years. My family still lives here, so I know the country. So I didn't have to spend time to realize how the country works. What I had to learn is, this crash course in technology, Zoom, webinars, things. Still I'm petrified sometimes. I say, if something goes wrong, how can I get it to start again? Still, I have this a fear because I belong to a generation. When I was raising up, we had the telephones with the cord. Not even so. Just this transformation is huge, and a lot of times I remember my grandfather, who was born in 1900, and he started his life in a small village in southern Peloponnese, and he ended up living in Toronto, Canada, because I was serving there. My mother died, so I had him with me, and he used to say to me, "Oh my God, in my life I saw so many things." So I said, if you manage to get through this transformation, I can learn Zooms and webinars. So this didn't stop me from communicating with people, and also having not only the Greek American community, but also the administration, Congress, doing a lot of things through this technological means. But on the other hand, this took away some part of the spontaneity, the feeling you have when you really meet people, when you get to see them, to understand, the feeling, the touch, the human touch. And as a Greek, I pay a lot of attention to the human, to the personal touch. So now I'm looking forward to start meeting the people in person, the people I know through Zooms, and travel around the country. But I think I will keep both ways of doing things. Of course, traveling around and meet people and having this personal touch and hearing people, listening to what they have to tell you in person, but also use Zoom in order to reach out to people that normally you don't reach out because you cannot travel in every place. And also, Zoom is very good in connecting people from various parts of the world. We had a lot of events where we had audiences from Greece, the US, Australia, Europe, and also panelists and speakers together from around the world, which is not easy to do in normal circumstances. So every every problem, every difficulty has its challenges, and we have to see what's good and take what is good and continue with that. So it was not easy, though. Believe me, it was not easy.
I
And
don't,
also the political, America changed, the country changed politically and psychologically and socially, because of course pandemic affected people, how they feel, how they live, and how they view themselves and the world. And I don't think we have seen it at the end of it. Now the pandemic is going away as a health scare, but still the repercussions will be felt for a long time to come. And we will have to deal with them for a long time to come. And we're going to see another world.
and we still have to deal with Israel, and we still have to deal with the European Union opening and Greece opening and all of these other things that you deal with on a daily basis. Because I think it's important to remind everybody watching that as Greece's top diplomat in the world and in the country, you're not just dealing with citizen services. You're dealing with the Congress, you're dealing with the administration, you're dealing with diplomatic crises and foreign relations matters. What's that like? What are you dealing with on a daily basis now? We know, I did see that the foreign minister was in Israel. That's got to be on your mind right now, dealing with everything happening with the United States. What are some of the other challenges that you face as Greece's top diplomat in the United States?
Being ambassador in Washington is very challenging, because this is the country here, Washington, the U.S. and Washington is the center of a lot of things that are happening around the world, because the U.S. being a superpower, having the position they have in the world, they have issues at stake in the Middle East, in Europe, in Latin America, in Southeast Asia, all over the world. And Greece and the United States are very close allies and partners. So we discuss all the time, we exchange views, and our discussions are not only about Eastern Mediterranean and the role of Greece in Eastern Mediterranean or in the Balkans. Our discussions are far more reaching than that, because the world we live in is interconnected, and what you do here affects something in another place in the world. Also, the American position in different crises around the world, in different parts around the world, is very important for Greece, also for the European Union, to which we belong, to formulate policies, because the transatlantic relationship is very strong, and both the US and the our European partners, and Greece, of course, place a lot of value on transatlantic partnership and cooperation and coordination. Having said that, it's obvious that you want to know what the Americans are thinking, and also you want to tell the Americans what Greece is thinking. And this is an everyday job in various fields, and sometimes simultaneously in various fields. But also the embassy deals with economic issues, American investment in Greece, or Greek businessmen who want to do jobs in the United States, and also protection of Greek products which come to the United States, and also the embassy also deals with educational issues. We want to promote, now that the pandemic is practically over, this program for students Hellenic descent, but not also only for of Hellenic descent, to go and spend a semester in Greece. That's a big part of our job. And also cooperation between Greek higher education institutions and American higher education institutions, and technological cooperation. So every day is a variety of things. And of course, you never get bored, because they're not the same. It's like after we finish our discussion, I have a discussion with a big conglomerate who want to go to invest in Greece, and they want to ask for what the Greek government can offer them to attract them there. So it's a variety, which is very, very good, because it opens your mind to a lot of things that are happening around the world. But also it's challenging, because you have to know a lot of things, and nobody knows everything. I'm very lucky that I have wonderful collaborators here in the embassy, so they help in that. And every day is a new day. Let's put it like that.
So, Ambassador, the question on everyone's mind, and the topic that's been the biggest topic on our social media channels, and what I hear most out in the coffee shops, Greece is open. It opened to Americans back in April. It opened to the majority of the world, most of the world, just a few days ago. I believe it was May 14th. I know that the country is going to great lengths to ensure safety of not just incoming travelers, but also its own residents. Do you want to talk to me a little bit about Greece's grand reopening plan? We have, I think, 10 nonstop flights from the United States. This year, the tourism minister, Mr. Theocharis, has been very busy shuttling around the country, signing agreements with Delta Airlines and United and so many other airlines. Talk to me about that, because a lot of people want to know about what to expect if they go to Greece this summer. There still are a lot of people on the fence. I know a lot of people who said, yes, 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 we're going. I know a lot of people who said, no way, I'm not going this year. But the majority of people that I'm talking to are still on the fence.
We have there are two issues here. The one is the situation in Greece, and the second is how you get to Greece. How you get to Greece. This year we have a record number of direct flights, which is very good. That's very helpful. You can go to Greece if you have to have alternatively, not altogether, either a proof of vaccination or a proof that you were sick in the last 90 days before you went, or PCR. Not all three, either one of the three. So if you take a direct flight, and of course you have to fill this electronic form that it was also last year, the PLF. So this is if you take a direct flight. If you don't take a direct flight, right now, as we speak, because things change all the time, you have to change flights in a country in Europe like Germany, you have to take into consideration the restrictions that exist in that country. Like in Germany, you have to have a PCR, 48 hours before you go there. Even if you are a transit traveler, because the word transit doesn't reflect the situation. It's like when you land in a European airport, you land in the Schengen area. So then the rest of the travel is within a country, one country. It's like landing in New York and going to Atlanta. You have to conform to everything, to every regulation in New York. What you do after you land in New York, nobody cares. This is the same thing. But there is a big but. There is a big discussion, and there is a preliminary decision 2 days ago in Brussels that all countries of the Schengen area, which is European Union Plus, will allow vaccinated travelers from the US to enter without anything else but the proof of vaccination. This is a preliminary decision. It's not a final decision. The moment it becomes a final decision, we'll inform you. So don't count on that today. It will happen sooner than later. But today it is not happening. So right now, if you take a direct flight, one of the three papers is fine. If you go through another European country, even if you are transit, which is not really transit, you have to conform to the regulations of that country. So you have to just find out what it is. So what's the situation in Greece? Once you land in Greece, you're free to go wherever you want to go. Of course, there's some restrictions, like you cannot attend a party with over 100 people as we speak now. Of course, this change. And of course, there are some restrictions in the hours that you are outside, like after midnight, you cannot go to a restaurant because it's closed. They have to close after 11 o'clock. But things change as days go by and the situation stabilizes, which means that there are more and more vaccinations. This is the main concern. Things change and become more and more open. The vaccination is going very, very well. They think by the beginning of June, 40% of the adult population will be fully vaccinated, and another big chunk, one vaccine, partially vaccinated. Every day they open more and more platforms because, as I said, in Greece it becomes it's done through the state, so it's very orderly the way you get vaccinated. But they're vaccinating thousands of people every day, and it's going very well. So by the time most of the Greek Americans want to go, which is end of June, I guess, the situation will be much more open than it is today.
I saw an interview with the tourism minister, Theocharis, on BBC the other day. And I was very impressed with the message. The message is come to Greece, but expect different holidays. It's not going to be the crazy partying, so on and so forth. And, you know, I was very much impacted by his message because he spoke about the core reason of a holiday, and that Greece really is the best place on earth to experience that kind of holiday. It's not just about going out and partying. And I was just so impressed because it was the same message that I heard across the board. The government has really done a remarkable job. And again, kudos to you for sharing that. The Greek National Tourist Organization has done a great job. They've come out with a new campaign. I believe it's called All You Need is Greece, or All You Want is Greece. It's a great campaign. I am on this side of things. I'm leaving for Greece on June 5th. I'm very excited to go. I will definitely be reporting on my Facebook channel and my various social media channels about my experience. Ambassador, I want to talk about the elephant in the room right now too, because I am getting a lot of comments, and that is, you know, once we get to Greece, are we safe? We are still seeing numbers of krusmata. We follow it on Twitter every single day. Hilia krusmata, 1,000 cases a day, 1,500 cases a day. They're much higher this year. The numbers of cases are much higher this year than they were last year when Greece was open. So some of the people that I'm hearing from are a little bit nervous because they don't feel that Greece is safe, or that the medical system could handle a possible outbreak or another wave while they're there. Can we talk about some of the things that the country has organized?
Last year, it was we didn't have any instances because the country was closed for 4 months, completely closed, complete lockdown. Of course, there was no coronavirus ever at any place because the shops were closed, the businesses were closed, civil administration was closed. So it was a closed down country. Nobody was allowed to enter, nobody was allowed to get out. Of course, there were no instances of coronavirus if you're completely isolated. So yes, it was COVID free practically last year. This year is not the same because the country opened. People of course, we were not working full time. I mean, every day, everybody, but still, services were open. People were going to their offices. Shops were open with restrictions, but still open. Only restaurants were closed until recently. So we had the second and third wave, and especially last November, it was quite difficult. But comparing to last November, now is very, very limited, and numbers are going down. And of course, I'm not the top health expert to predict what's going to happen. But if we follow what the top experts tell us, the more the vaccination are expanding, the safer you are. Which means even if you get sick, which it's very small percentage of population who is vaccinated that really gets sick. It's a very light. It's like having the flu. That's what the experts say. I'm not an expert. So that's what I read. That's what I hear. So the big guarantee, if you want, we can say so, is the vaccination program, and also the fact that the people who are coming to Greece are mostly vaccinated. Another
and testing negative.
Exactly, and testing negative. Another precaution that we're taking is that we have these self-tests. It's all over Greece. So when you have to go to places like in a public event, you are supposed, or you take the boat to go to the island, you have to present a negative test. So this is another precaution. And of course, I don't think anybody will expect this year we will go to Panegyria with 4,000 people. That, no, I don't think it will happen. Maybe now it's 100 people for weddings and this kind of gatherings. Maybe we'll go to 200 people. Maybe if everything goes so well, it will go to 300 people, but not 5,000 people that it used to be. This week they opened the theaters, the open air cinemas, but also with limited numbers attending. A big advantage we have in Greece, especially in the summer, is that most of activities take place outdoors.
Of course.
With or without coronavirus, we live outdoors in the summer, and that also minimizes the risk of infection. Regarding the health, the medical system, it proved itself to be so resilient and so well equipped that all of us in Greece are amazed. Of course, it helped a lot that after the first wave of the pandemic, there was like a national campaign, and a lot of Greek, extremely rich Greeks donated equipment and a lot of money to the Greek system. Also, the country, the government hired many more employees in the health system. So it proved to be really extremely well equipped to handle the weight of this pandemic. And this was proven especially last November, when we really had a problem, especially in northern Greece, in Thessaloniki. This was a huge issue, and the system managed to sustain the pressure. Of course, at some point we had to transfer intensive care unit patients to other hospitals outside Thessaloniki, but still everybody was taken care of. So that was an amazing accomplishment. Also, another precaution that we're taking right now for the summer, if there is some high numbers in a special region, like in a small city, you isolate the city. You don't have to put restrictions on the entire country. So if the scientists follow all the indicators every day, and they pronounce judgments on whether this area is in high danger of having a coronavirus spread, so they put extra restrictions in that area. So there are a lot of safeguards in place. Nobody guarantees anything in this world. I mean, my God, I will not say that everything will be perfect. Who knows? But I think we're past the danger part of the pandemic, and I think Greece, because of the precautions and the size of the country and the outdoor activities and the climate and everything, is in very good position to handle any backsliding if there is one.
I think you've just convinced a lot of people that may have been on the fence to come to
I
my
hope so.
side. Ambassador, I've already taken up a half an hour of your time, but there is something else I want to talk to you about as quickly and as concisely as we can. It's a very complicated issue, and maybe you can give us a quick description, a nutshell. Many people are asking about getting Greek citizenship. I understand there has been a rush to all of the consulates, not just in the United States, but around the world, of diaspora Greeks. Who qualifies for Greek citizenship? What's the process to get Greek citizenship? What's the value of getting Greek citizenship? Or I think you corrected me, actually, when I met with you and you hosted that wonderful dinner at your home a few weeks ago. It's not Greek citizenship, because we are all Greek citizens. We're entitled. We're Greeks. Greece considers us. It's just going through the bureaucratic process to get the paperwork required. So can you give us a quick summary?
There are two different issues: getting a Greek passport and registering in Greece. In order to get a passport, you have to be registered in Greece. So a lot of times people want a passport, they're registered in Greece. This is a very easy process. And now with the electronic way, we can even retrieve their registration in Greece. They don't have to do anything. Of course, they have to come to the consulate because we need fingerprints, and they have to take the pictures. But it's relatively easy and not time consuming. Of course, some of your audiences will take, it takes some time. Yes, but it's not because it's the process is time consuming. It's the fact that we cannot issue the passports in the United States or in Australia or in Germany. We send all the papers to Greece, and the passports are issued there. So sometimes, we have to put them in the diplomatic pouch, because it's physical. It has to go physically, and they have to arrive in Greece, go to the municipalities where each one belongs, and then be issued, sent back to the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Athens, and then sent back to us. This is the time-consuming process, not the issuing of the passport per se. So this is issuing passports. When it comes to registration in Greece, there is no unanimity, there's no uniform rules, because each case is different. It's one thing if your parents are registered in Greece and you're a first generation and you're underage. This is automatic, practically. It's a different thing if your parents are registered in Greece and you are 40 years old, because you're not below age, legal age. That's a different story. It's a different story if your great grandparents came from Greece and there is no paper to be found any place. That's another story. It's each case is different. We try to facilitate it. Sometimes I know people find it complex, but we have to observe the law, and we try to guide people. One thing I want to state, and I would like all your audience to sympathize with us. We have a 600% increase in demands all over the United States. It's next to impossible with the personnel we have to make it in one day. It's impossible to get an. I'm very honest. 600% increase up to okay. In the United States, we work full. All the personnel from the 1st of March is fully. We all work full time. Everybody's here. But for December, January, February was half and half in shifts, and you cannot do that from your home. It's obvious. And another problem is that we cannot put a lot of appointments because we have to keep health restrictions. You cannot have 10 people waiting in the room. The one has to finish, get out, and the other one has to enter. So this also doesn't give us a lot of flexibility in adding appointments. We have to allow like 20-25 minutes for each appointment, because sometimes the fingerprints don't work automatically. Some papers we need to help the person how to fill it. Sometimes the picture is not right. We have to send them back to make another picture. So you cannot, if there was the pandemic, you can put every appointment every 10 minutes. And if they have to wait in the waiting room, okay, 20 people, it's not a big deal. Now we cannot do that for our own protection, but also their own protection. And you cannot have older people or young people with children wait outside in the cold or in the sun. So you have to allow more time for the appointment. And this restricts the number of appointments, not so much, but it does. And it's a fact of life. 600% increase with the same number of employees. Yes, there will be delays.
Of course. Ambassador, the rules state what? If your parents or grandparents, or can it go back even more generations?
If you can prove, and the proof is a lot, you can prove it in many ways. There is not one standard way, that one of your grandparents, great-grandparents, some connection to a Greek, you're entitled to Greek citizenship. But this is very generic. Before 1983, only the children of Greek fathers could get the Greek citizenship. After 1983, it's also the children of Greek mothers. The fact that you had a great grandmother was Greek still doesn't exclude you from Greek citizenship. It's a different process. It's not as automatic as it would have been, but still there is a process. It's more complicated.
Well, and one would expect you've got to prove this. You can't just show up on your doorstep and say, my great-grandmother was Greek and I want to become Greek, because becoming Greek, there's responsibilities involved on your end. You can't just let anybody into the country and make them citizens.
Of course, you have to prove it. But like we have cases like great grandparents who came from Pontus. We spoke about the genocide of Pontians, which we celebrated yesterday in Greece, and we celebrated around the world. So your great grandparents came from Pontus. A victim, really a victim, a refugee. Of course, you don't have papers. It's obvious that you don't have papers. And at that time, you didn't even have the Greek nationality because Pontus was not part of official Greek state. This doesn't mean you are not a Greek. Of course, you can prove it. You can prove it if you bring the baptism certificate that you were baptized in a Greek Orthodox church. You can prove it if your great grandparent was an active member in a Greek American organization. This is also proof of Greek that you feel as a Greek. That's the point, that you have this feeling that you are Greek, that you believe that you are Greek. That's the whole point. So there are many ways to prove it, but it becomes more difficult, of course.
Ambassador, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. We are very honored to have you. We've had lots of comments. Unfortunately, we can't answer all of them, but we have published things. The website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for all of these citizenship-related matters, is it mfa.gr, or does the...
Yeah, and also you can reach the websites of all the embassy and all the consulates.
Ambassador, thank you very much for your time. I look forward to seeing you in person again. I feel that Greece is in really good hands having you here as the country's representative. Thank you. Kalli synechia. Stay safe.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure and an honor.
And give all of my best to all of your team there in Washington and congratulate them for the fine job they're doing.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye. So that was Ambassador Alexandra Papadopoulou. And I want to thank all of you for watching. Lots of you there, lots of comments. We'll try to share as much information as we can to answer all of your questions. I'm going to wrap the show in a very fun and exciting way. I want to introduce you all to somebody. Let me see if he's here. Are you there, Nico? Yes, you are. So before I share Nico on the stream, I want to show you some pictures. This is Nico at the Colosseum in Rome. This is Nico at, I believe it's the Trevi Fountain. He can tell us all of this. You're probably wondering, what's this Greek American kid doing in Rome? Well, it ends up he is a soccer player. He's played in numerous teams in and around Rome. He's there getting his master's degree. He'll tell us more about that. His name is Nico Roros. Big shout out to all of the people in Baltimore watching. He's a native Baltimorean with roots in my hometown of Pittsburgh. And if I don't show this picture, I may get lynched. So, because he's a good Greek American boy and we have to show his mom. Nikki is watching. Nikki, you should be really proud of your son, not just because of his accomplishments in soccer, but also because of his dedication to his Greek heritage and to carrying that forward in Rome, in faraway Rome. Without further ado, I want to introduce you all to Nico Roros. Nico's going to tell us a little bit about what he's doing. I think you're live. Nico, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Thank you for having me, Greg. How are you?
All right. I'm great, Nico. Thank you. We're getting a lot of comments already from people from Baltimore. They love you, love your family. So your classic Greek American story. You grew up in Baltimore, went to church, played soccer in the evenings, did your thing, went to school. Where'd you go to school?
So I went to Spurs Point High School, and then I hopped around a few different colleges. I went to 2 community colleges in Baltimore. Worked on my associates, and then transferred to Point Park University in Pittsburgh. And I just finished up my master's here last week in Rome.
That's great. So you made a big decision to hop across the pond and go play in Rome, and you've played for a couple of teams. Who are you playing for now?
Right now, we just finished up the season with Rome City SC. We played in Trofeo de Petrolio. It's a national tournament here. So that was a lot of fun. However, COVID made it a little difficult to play in a set league, just because one, the team is new, and second, anything below like the fourth and fifth division on and off, the leagues weren't playing out for most of the year.
Nico, do you speak Italian?
I'm working on it. I speak a little bit. I understand more than I speak, but it's okay.
Nico, I want to talk about your decision to um, run a 12K race in Rome. Very exciting what you're doing. You're actually going to be doing a 12K on June 12th, I think it is.
Correct.
June 12th. You're going to be running a 12K around Rome. You're going to be showing us all of the beautiful sites of Rome, many of which are Greek sites, but we won't tell the Italians that. Um, Everything good about Italy has been inspired by Greece, and I say that with all of the love in the world I have for Italy. Um, you chose to run for charity because in a conversation that you and I had in prepping for the show, you wanted to make this something bigger than yourself, and it takes a lot to make that decision. You chose to run for the Greek America Foundation. You're part of Team Greek America, and you're raising money for children's charities in Greece. What's interesting is that neither you nor your mother and your father, I'm not sure, were born in Greece, but yet you have this connection to this country. Explain that to me. Why do you feel such a strong connection to Greece and to Greek heritage, and why you chose to do this 12K?
Yeah, I mean, for me, growing up in Baltimore, my dad's mom kind of raised me until like I was probably about like 8, 9 years old, and she didn't speak much English. So technically, my first language is actually Greek. I didn't learn English until I went to elementary school. So that was a little fun fact. But yeah, I mean, just growing up in the church with Goya, the dance group, and just with all my friends in Greek town, it was, yeah, we're all Greek, but we're in America. But it's a very similar lifestyle. Like after basketball practice, it wouldn't be uncommon for us to go like to somewhere to get a euro and just hang out for a bit, go to Bouzoukia, things like that. So I mean, for me, it's like normal life. If I go to Greece, I feel at home. If I go to Baltimore and I'm around my friends and my family, I feel at home as well.
Greece is home. Where's home? Chios, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm a Chioti,
Both,
100%.
both your parents are Chiotis?
Yeah, Mesta and Lithi is both sides of the family.
Great. So, Nico, talk to me about your decision to run for charity. What does that mean to you?
I mean, for me, the run means a lot, especially through the last year and a half with COVID. Um, a lot of people have been doing everything virtually. So I mean, it's one thing that I'm halfway across the world from where I grew up, but also the other thing is that for me to Chiusa la porta. Grazie. Um, for me to be able to run, I mean, I run in Rome once a week. I pick a specific spot. If it's Treviton, that's where I'm running to that day. I'm taking a quick snippet, a little snapshot picture from my Instagram, and I'm going home. And that's a beauty of being here. I get to see all the history, all the years of culture, and not only my culture, but the Italian culture as well. So for me to be able to do that in a run that's for a good cause and show the world what I'm doing, what we're doing with the Greek American Foundation, while also showing them Rome and why I'm here. That's an amazing thing.
That's great. I'm putting some pictures up again from the Coliseum. We are going to share your Instagram. I'm assuming that's where you're going to be sharing your run on the 12th of June.
Yeah. So I'll be putting out my story, and also hopefully be collecting some film and some pictures along my route.
Great. We'll post your Instagram account here, but I also wanted to encourage people. You've hit the ground running. Your fundraising page has already exceeded $1,000. Your family and friends have really come through. We shared the article about you from the Pappas Post, as well as the donation page. So we do encourage people to support you. Congratulations for this effort. I understand you're going to do some giveaways too. How are we doing this? What are you giving away?
Yeah, so the Soccer Management Institute, where I go to school, where I went to school, and they give us all of our training gear. So we have a field player top, and I'm a goalkeeper, so we obviously have to give away a goalkeeper top. And if you see right here, we have TGA for Team Greek America.
That's
So
great.
we'll be giving full kits away. We'll have 3 full kits.
What's
I
the
got
logo?
a pair of
What's the
Game On
logo on the
gloves I'm
shirt?
going to sign, give away. Yeah, the logo is actually behind me as well, but the logo is Soccer Management Institute with a beautiful lion, because we are fierce.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, Nico. And you're going to be giving this away during your run. We'll have all the instructions on your Instagram page. And I understand the Greek America Foundation will also be sharing all this stuff. Nico, a lot of people are very proud of you. I think nobody is more proud of you than this person right here. I'm going to put her on the screen again. Your father too. They're all very proud of you. I think all Greek Americans are proud when somebody young like you decides to be philanthropic. We often speak about philanthropy and philotimo, and it's important to live these ideals also. So thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for, on behalf of all of us, for making us proud. Thank you for raising the Greek flag in the middle of that Italian stadium on March 25th. I saw your Instagram post back then. I understand some of your Italian buddies beat you up. Although I'm really curious to see what it must be like on Ohi Day in October 28th, when you're raising the Greek flag in Italy, reminding all of your buddy Italians of what went on 80 some odd years ago on Ohi Day. So we'll be following your Instagram in October. Nico, thank you again for what you're doing. And I want to thank all of you for watching Live with Gregory Pappas. I'll be back again next week. I'm not sure what I'm going to be talking about. Thank all of you for watching. And I want you all to take a look at one final thing, our support page. We've got hundreds and hundreds of people around the country and around the world who support the Pappas Post and the work that we do. It costs money to continue these live broadcasts and to share all of the unique content that we do share with you. For as little as $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever it is you do, we will use that money to keep the original content flowing, to keep events like these happening. Lots of things in the pipeline for you. Click that support link and pitch in $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever it is you can do. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you for watching. Support Nico Roros. Nico, thank you for everything that you're doing. Thanks for being with us. And thank you all for watching today.